All right, hello and welcome back to Neek Pull List podcast, the weekly show-ish. Nope, not weekly anymore. Oh man, bi-weekly.
Whenever we can.
Whenever we can. Comic books, they exist. Yes, so the show where we talk about the comic books that we picked up at the comic book store when we can. Is that a new tagline? When we can, yeah. With me as always is Josh Finney. Hey, Josh.
Hey, what's going on, Ray?
Not much, man. So comic books, we have a lot of comic books. A lot more coming out in the next few weeks. Honestly,
We got a big event starting on next Saturday with Free Comic Book Day.
Free Comic Book Day. We get Civil War II, and then not too far after that, on its heels, Rebirth.
Yeah, we get one of the Rebirth teasers actually.
Yeah,
on Free Comic Book Day. Suicide Squad #1 comes out.
Yeah, yay.
I mean, it makes sense. They're going to push it just like they did Guardians a few years ago because we've got Suicide Squad movie.
That's true. So I mean, that's all cool with me. But I'm just excited for more comic books. My pull list is getting a little long.
Getting a little long. It's starting to get more pricey.
Yeah, just a little bit more pricey. But that's okay. There's a guy that I got to know at the comic book shop that goes weekly. He has a $200 pull.
Oh,
yeah. So kudos to you, my friend.
is it like a one of everything?
I think it's like a one of everything. I was like, my God, I'm gonna pay my $19 and leave.
$200 is more than I think I've spent in the last year on comics.
Me too.
Not excluding collecting editions.
No, me too. Like seriously, but I was like, wow, okay, bye.
You have the money more. If I had the money, I'd do it.
Me too. Like seriously, if I had the money, I would
space.
totally have it. But it's all right. I respect that, man. Respect. Anyway. So Josh, this week was a little light. This past week was a little light. Not bad though, because next week is going to be pretty packed. From what I remember.
I mean, it was actually a good week.
Yeah, it was. What'd you pick up?
I picked up Old Man Logan #5. I did The Dark Knight 3 issue 4 or 5. I think it's issue 4.
Mm-hmm.
So we're halfway through that event now. Justice League 49, of course.
Yes.
Batman 51, Scott Snyder's final issue on Batman.
Oh.
And I did what other one did I do? I did another DC comic, and I can't remember what it is. Oh, no, it wasn't. I did the final issue of Avengers Standoff.
Oh, yes, that's right. That's a big one. So, yeah, that's a big one.
And Star Wars 18. I had a really expensive week at the shop. I spent like $30-something.
Oh, my. Yeah, I'm looking at my receipt now. 1973. There you go.
It's a great year.
Yeah, whatever. It's probably when Kiku was born. Well, anyway.
He's just a solid decade older.
Doesn't matter when.
We love you.
Yes, we do. So this week for me, I went my normal route. I got Miss Marvel #6. Which I'm really excited about because this one actually has like the first real spark of Civil War II, and I didn't expect to see it there.
Yeah, I've fallen behind on that one.
This one is you want to check out the last few pages of that one because I was like, what here now? That's weird. Ultimates #6.
Yep, I also got Ultimates. I picked that one up later though. I did that one a couple nights ago.
I'm finally caught up on that book and now I'm current, and man, great stuff. Like you said, Justice League 49 because we have to be reading Justice League because there's only one more issue left unless they're going to do another special, which I don't know. I need to check the previews links to see if there's going to be another one. International Iron Man #2, which I honestly had forgotten about, but then I went and picked up my books and they were like, oh. Yeah, this book. So I'm like, oh, well, okay, we'll find out. We'll see what's happening. And then I picked up a special one because, I've been on a real kick lately with this game. I picked up a Dark Souls comic book, and I don't hate it. So, yeah, interesting week. Some good stuff in there. So what do you want to start, Josh?
Let's talk Justice League 49. That's probably the biggest one.
That is the biggest one. At least I think so. Like, of all the books that came out, for me anyway, Justice League 49 is the biggest.
Right. So we kind of pick up where we left off with the one shot. If you didn't read the one shot, you're gonna be a little confused here if you didn't read the one shot.
Right.
And it's mainly the Jessica Cruz cyborg storyline that you really need to have read from that one shot to understand what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
and the backstory of Grail, and that comes into play in only the last couple of pages.
But
so
it's super important.
the other one shots they did, like off each of the heroes having the heroes kind of have a dark side's power.
Yeah, they all have a piece of Darkseid's power.
They explored that really well in this. How some of them are who haven't let it go yet are still really strong or can't let go. In the Flash's case, Black Racers possessed him, even though it's still
trying his hardest.
It's definitively Barry talking, but he can't. Like, he's helpless sitting around. And we see Lex Luthor use his power.
So this is where I was like, well, I really wish that was the one shot that I had picked that one up in the original one shots of the Aftermath.
Yeah.
Because now it seems like that one was important, at least in some respects.
It didn't seem like it was at the time,
right?
And I mean, I went back and reread it after we found out there was a Lex Luthor one shot. It was very good. It was a great insight to Lex. This was awesome. The dichotomy between him and Superman in this is just so great. There's a conversation they have after Superman finally lets go of the power that he's been holding in and fires it at Mobius.
Yeah, he tried to kill Mobius with it,
by releasing Darkseid's power, and it didn't really do anything. He instead got knocked down and injured, and Lex basically tells him, he goes, "You and I are opposites. You spend so much time restraining your power. I'm going to show you what you could be capable of, though."
Yeah, big words.
That was a really cool scene, though, because
cool scene.
even though Lex Luthor is a villain, he's trying to save this world just as much as they are.
Yeah, because if Mobius is there to destroy the world.
Yeah, and I mean it's very obvious by the end, though. The Syndicate of course they're still going to continue to be villains.
Yep.
Superwoman finally has the baby.
That feels so weird to me.
The last few pages, though, we're not going to spoil it. If you haven't read the one shot, we're not going to spoil it. But read the one shot, you'll understand where we're going with it.
Yes.
Had I not read the one shot, I would have been like, "What the hell?"
Yeah, you would be so entirely confused with just the last few pages of this book.
But having read that, my jaw hit the ground.
Right. This was one of those moments. Like, this is a moment like in Secret Wars where Cyclops stood up against Doom for the first time.
Yeah.
And it was like, what's going to happen? And then the opposite of what you were expecting happens.
It was awesome. And it's like, so now basically we're left, the Justice League is facing this new threat and also facing the Syndicate. And it's all going to end in 50. There's got to be another one shot.
There has to be another special because
we still haven't resolved what's happening
like
to Jessica Cruz, the Cyborg.
Like we said, there's no way he could do it in 4 issues. And now with the specials, it's been extended to 5. So I'm hoping they extend it to 6 with another special before 50. Because there's a lot of answers that need to be had. A lot.
It's definitely, I don't read a ton of Justice League. I like to read the individual heroes. Instead, the Justice League's always kind of been, to me. This has gone down as one of my favorite arcs in recent memory, though.
This is my favorite current Justice League arc. This is
Justice League. It is my favorite arc.
Yeah.
And we've said it multiple times. We have to say it again. This is what Convergence should have been. It has the impact that should have had. Now, this was born out of Convergence.
Yep.
But this has been a year in the making. We're finally getting to the end, and this is what's basically going to kick off Rebirth.
Which I'm ready for. I'm ready for Rebirth now. I'm ready for it.
I am now. I'm ready for it. We're ready to see Greg Rucka take over Wonder Woman, ready for Scott Snyder to go to All-Star Batman.
I just want to see where all the stories go from now, because now I kind of feel like there's certain books that are kind of spinning their wheels, anticipating Rebirth to start.
Well, I mean, while we're on the subject, of Rebirth, the other major DC comic I picked up this week was Scott Snyder's Batman 51, his final issue on the main title. It's a very self-contained story. It basically deals with the ideology and the idea of what is Batman. Who is he?
What did you think? How did they accomplish that?
I liked it a lot. It was a very fitting end. You can definitively tell it ends the Scott Snyder run. It caps it off. And, Batman is going around, he keeps thinking that the city is in danger. There's all these incidents going on, but it all just happens to be like accidents, like the power went out just because somebody accidentally tripped a breaker while he was trying to get some research for an article or something. Batman thinks something menacing is happening. This guy's stealing, and he's like, no, I promise I'm a journalist. And things like that. And it it deals kind of with the paranoia in a sense of Bruce Wayne, that he has to always watch this city, but that the city doesn't always need him.
Right.
The city can sleep soundly at night from time to time. And there's a really good interaction, between Bruce and Alfred. The dialogue is extremely good in this. It just, because how 50 ended, it felt like it was the end of the arc. And then this is kind of the epilogue in a sense. Bruce Wayne's taken the mantle back over from Gordon. It's good even as a standalone. If you really want to get inside the mind of Bruce and how he feels as Batman and kind of what a psychological toll it's taken on him, this is an excellent issue.
Okay. Because, I'm more interested, and I've told you this before, and I've said it on the show before, I'm more interested in Batman the detective.
Yes.
That's what I love. I love the world.
He was very much a detective in this one.
Okay.
It was very cool. He kept trying to find something to do, and there was nothing. Like, nobody really needed his help.
What am I supposed to do? Nobody needs me.
So a lot of it is his thoughts, and then a newspaper article is running concurrently, like as the overarching dialogue, describing what he's seeing, describing how he feels, things like that. It was very different. It was good. It made me excited for All-Star Batman, and I really want to see how the new run takes off.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I haven't wanted to, Scott Snyder got me back into reading Batman, not just picking up the graphic novels. He did a great job. Mr. Bloom was an excellent villain. The Court of Owls, of course, Death in the Family. He's had so many great arcs in this 4 or 5 year run that you have to wonder if he's the best since Grant Morrison.
Okay.
So very fitting end. I picked up another Batman book this week, The Dark Knight 3, issue 4, but there really isn't a whole lot to say. This was kind of an uneventful issue. It dealt more with Superman than Batman.
Interesting.
Yeah, I don't know if I like this run yet. That's the problem. We're halfway through the event. I've said it before, The Dark Knight Returns is one of my favorite, if not, in my opinion, one of the very best stories ever written in any medium. Okay. It's what brought Batman back. That's why we got Tim Burton's Batman on screen. Batman had very largely faded in popularity before that, and then Dark Knight Strikes Again in the 90s I really enjoyed. I think I'm one of the only people who says that I enjoyed it, but I enjoyed it. This feels like a cash grab. It's really started to feel that way. I don't like it as much as I thought I was going to. I thought it picked up with issue 3. It's fallen back off again, and I think at this point I'll be waiting until it's done.
That's okay. Plus
I'm tired of paying $6 an issue.
Yeah, I get tired of that too. Just saying. Most of my Batman reading has only been in collected editions. So
yeah, it's best when it's like that because they did these giant year-long arcs, and it's not like they end an arc after 4 or 5 issues. It's a year long, which isn't bad, but it's really annoying.
Right, and and I don't feel bad for buying them in collected editions because it's Batman. It's always going to sell. So I'm
DC is pretty reasonably priced when it comes to their collected editions.
Yes, they are. And that's why I buy them because they're decently priced. So.
Yeah.
For sure. All
right, Ray. So what do you want to bring up that's not DC? Because I think I just covered all our DC books.
I think we did. That was all of them. So Miss Marvel. This book, we've praised this book near and far on every show that we've ever done. This book is so much fun and it's so good. Her character is still phenomenal. Kamala Khan so you know how Miles is about how he's dealing with his family and school and balancing being Spider-Man and an Avenger and all that other fun stuff, right? Mm-hmm. Well, Kamala Khan does that and it's like turned up to 12 and there's this kooky so
it's just so ridiculous.
It's so ridiculous in the best ways and it's done so well. And I love the art style of this one. Just in this did you read 5?
No, I've not read 5 or 6.
So I'm not going to spoil much, but she ends up having too much responsibility. Is trying to figure out the best way to balance all these things, and she determines, well, what if I don't have to balance them? I could just focus on one thing by doing this other thing that's kind of like a shortcut. And it turns out it doesn't go so well. So it turns into the whole mess that's happening right now. We finally find out kind of who's been a part of who's been causing most of the trouble with some stuff that's been happening. There's some really, really weird stuff that goes down in the city. But it's awesome. And you get to see some more of her brother and that budding relationship, and it's kind of great. Then you get to see, I mentioned it earlier, there's a situation where Iron Man and Captain Marvel show up, and both of them are very protective of Camilla, and they're kind of like, what are you doing here? It's kind of like that. I'm like, whoa, how did we get there? I want to find out how we zoom out and find out how this picture got to where it is. Because, she's an Avenger. She's one of the young ones. And so when she calls, they come. It's a really interesting scene there. So she is one of the tie-ins further along into Civil War II. So we'll see what happens there.
She's been one of my favorites since No New Normal came out, the first volume.
Mm-hmm.
And the art, I think, was better in those than it is now.
It was more refined.
Right. I liked the kind of cell shade look it took. I've always been a fan of that. Something completely different than what we see in comics normally. It felt more like an indie book, etc. She's so much fun to read, even in a serious book, because she's still, even in Avengers, she's fangirling out that she's working with her heroes and this and that, and her and Nova kind of do, and Miles is just like, yo, man, I'm new to this universe, but play it cool.
Yeah, I hope they address that later, because Miles hasn't always been there. So how do we explain that? But hey.
I mean, we kind of, you and I have theorized on that we think he's one of the very few who remembers Secret Wars, right. And that's going to come out later on in the year, because he's completely shocked in Ultimate End number 5 that his mom is alive in this reality, and they don't really deal with that in the core series.
No, I mean, they just, and I'm glad they don't, because it'd be too confusing for people who were just picking up the book for the first time.
Right. It was really cool to me, though, as someone who read all of Miles's run and now reading Miss Marvel. The new Avengers book really does feature on the 3 new recruits the most. Vision is kind of there, and it even feels like Iron Man is really just kind of there. Falcon, or he's not Falcon, I keep calling him Falcon. Sam Wilson. Sam is kind of the mentor to these 3. Tony helps out a little bit, but not nearly as much as we thought he would. They're very clearly letting him take a back seat for once. And Kamala is just so fun to read. Like, if you have someone young who's looking to get into comics under the age of 18, this is where you should start them. You should start them with Miss Marvel and with Spider-Man. Those are the 2 best ones right now. Those are 2 of our favorites.
Forgetting, you have to do the 3. There's the trifecta. You have to do Miss Marvel, Spider-Man, and Hulk. You have to do those.
Yeah. Oh, definitely not Nova. Hulk.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I wanted to get into the new Nova. I did a little bit.
I wanted Nova to be good.
I mean, I don't think he's terrible.
I don't have a problem with Sam Alexander.
He's not as good as the Spider-Man, the Miss Marvel, and the Hulk book. They're just it's not as good.
The book overall, it's just kind of it's not the good kind of cheesy either. Like, Miss Marvel's really cheesy, but it's really fun. Nova's never really felt that way. To me, he's really whiny. Even in the Avengers books, especially, that's really what put me off to him. He's very whiny. He complains a lot. You don't really get that. Kamala fangirls out, but she still gets down to business. And Miles is just like, dude, let's do this.
Yeah, he gets distracted a lot.
Yeah,
and not even by the problems that the other 2 have. So,
but Ray, we actually have a team-up book to talk about. Speaking of Captain Marvel. The best issue that we read this week outside of Justice League 49.
Well, in the Marvel Universe, yes. This is on
the Marvel Universe, far and away the best.
Yes. Ultimates, number 6. Oh my goodness. This book, as I will keep telling people, is my favorite comic book currently.
It's far and away the best in the Marvel Universe right now. This is what Cosmic Marvel should be. And some of these characters you wouldn't expect to be Cosmic Marvel.
Right, and this is a book where, I have never been like too into Cosmic Marvel. I just haven't. I'm like, okay, that's cool. But I've always really liked the conflicts on Earth, it's because some of that stuff is kind of relatable, so I like that stuff. This has been my first kind of like real serious foray into cosmic anything, and it kind of ended. To me, it feels like it just kind of ended up here. I didn't really see this where this is going, so I've just been kind of along for this amazing ride, and it's been like, well, this is where we are, and this is awesome. So I don't know if we just flat out talked about it before, but the cover is a dead giveaway. Galactus is not the Galactus anymore.
No.
He is now the Lifebringer, and this is all because of the Ultimates. And that twist in itself has changed the flow of the universe, like the entire universe.
Yeah. Yeah, he kind of exists out of reality now.
Right, exactly. Now he's a part of reality. Like, well, he always had been a part of reality. He had been more following along the plan that, that he was more of a natural entity, is what they referred to him for, as, before he was a piece of nature. He did what he had to do. But they found out that that wasn't necessarily the stopping point for him. And he had to further evolve to become what he is now, which is the Lifebringer, which is awesome. And so there's a pretty interesting, I don't know how far we want to get into this, Josh, but there's a lot of philosophy in this book.
In all the issues there has been. Yes. It really deals with, like what makes a person, what makes a hero, what is time, things like that. And this really took the dial and cranked it to 11.
It really did. It took the explanation of time that we had known in the Marvel Universe that's changed a few times. Most recently with Secret Wars, and before that, I think the most recent one that I can remember was in that new Ultron book that they did, where they talked about time and how it's an entity and it was hurt and it was healing and blah blah blah. This changes all that. This defines time in this universe even more, and I like it because it's we don't really know what time, how it works or what it is, but their interpretation of it is awesome. I really like it. And I really, really don't want to spoil anything in this book, because I want everybody to read this because it's so interesting. And it's one of those books where it's you get all the comic book assets. You get the action, you get the dialogue, but in the story. But this one, you get all that plus the characters and more, which is why I like this book so much. You just get so much in this one book. You get so much. I can't recommend this book enough. I just can't.
No, it's very good. And I mean, especially if you read Secret Wars, this is like the epilogue book, really.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't call it the epilogue. It's just, this is the more of the continuation of what we know happened in Secret Wars.
Because, Panther is the only one who really remembers. And you have to start wondering, at what point are Reed and Sue going to show up in this book?
Right. Where are they? Where are they in their children?
You don't understand why I'm saying that after you read number 6. I mean, I think you and I have kind of wondered that since the first couple of issues, but now it's getting to a point okay, they're very clearly going to show up. When are they going to show up? I think it could be as early as Civil War II, because we know the Ultimates is one of the major tie-ins to that event.
So but honestly, I could totally see them putting that on the back burner and being
and I want them to.
And come back and addressing it in a different arc after Civil War II.
It feels like it's going to happen, given, the Inhuman who knows what events are going to happen.
Right.
That Panther and Captain Marvel find themselves on opposite sides. The Ultimates literally get split right down the middle. And at that point, that's when I kind of start wondering, okay, are Reed and Sue going to step in to make this right? Is Owen Reese going to show up? Is Franklin going to show up? Who's going to show up from that outside of reality area?
See, that's the thing. I kind of feel like the universe itself is going to correct itself, if that makes sense. In this event,
it always corrects itself. That's a recurring theme,
right? And I kind of feel like there's now a new outlier that showed up in book 5 of the Ultimates that I feel will be part of the reason why the universe steps in to correct itself. But
we'll let you guys figure that one out. It was a really cool twist.
It was really cool, and this is a literal outlier. So that's why it's gonna be awesome. So Ultimates number 6. It's not too late to jump in. Go find those back issues. They're great. Go to your comic book shop, have them order them. Check out that book. I think you'll really enjoy it if you like the big team books, but it's beyond the team. It's the universe, which is really cool.
Basically Cosmic Avengers.
Oh yes. I can dig it. All right, Josh, what else you got?
The last one I'm going to talk about this week is Avengers Standoff, Assault on Pleasant Hill, number 3. I'm really happy this event is over.
Yeah.
It hasn't.
And I skipped over this one entirely. I'll just be candid about it. I skipped it entirely. I just wasn't too interested in it.
And it wasn't. I read it because I knew that coming out of it, we were going to get the Thunderbolts. There's been some cool scenes. There's been some cool stuff that happened. Steve Rogers, we covered this in the 75th anniversary issue, becomes young again.
Right.
That's by far the most reaching impact of this.
Probably the most impactful thing, probably.
I mean, there's that. There's, obviously Bucky is going to form the Thunderbolts. That's not a spoiler. Everyone knew that was going to happen. It was announced with the event that, Bucky's forming the Thunderbolts, by the way. Here's the cover of issue number 1.
Yeah, they gave us the cover before the story started.
Yeah, I think I would have liked it better had they not announced that.
Right.
That would have been a really cool twist at the end. As to what actually happens regarding the living cosmic cube, the girl Kobiak, is a really cool little twist. How Maria Hill gets treated after the fallout from this.
So just a quick question in that.
Yes.
I know you weren't a big fan of Maria Hill at all. Is that changed?
No. I still don't like Maria Hill in this book. And I've been a Maria Hill apologist for a long time. Mm-hmm. I really enjoyed her. I was super stoked when they brought her into the Avengers and in Winter Soldier. They've gone and her character's gone downhill so much since Invincible Iron Man, when Matt Faction wrote it, in the aftermath of where While Dark Reign was going on, really, that I just can't get behind it anymore. I don't really like the character, and what they did here, I mean, it seemed like it would be logical for her to go and do, because she's just a shitty person now in the comics.
Oh, great.
It didn't feel organic. None of this really felt right. The event kind of left a bad taste in my mouth. It's one of those where you have to read some of the tie-ins or you're not going to understand.
Yay.
You had to read at least the 3 core issues, the 3 standoff issues, and I'm going to say the Cap 75th anniversary. You had to read at least those 4. The Avengers books were not as absolutely essential. None of the other tie-ins. I didn't read any other tie-ins, so I'm going to go ahead and assume they're not essential because I didn't feel confused. Had I not read the Cap anniversary issue, I would have been really confused.
Yeah,
but all 3 of those made sense to me. So it wasn't that great of an event. I'm glad it only lasted for like 2 months, but that was like another $15 I shelled out that I really wish I wouldn't have. I don't really recommend it to anybody. Mm-hmm. I guess pick up issue number 3 if you want to see young Cap in action again. If you want to see, how the Thunderbolts come out. Kraven the Hunter has the absolute best line of dialogue I've read in forever in a comic.
So, okay, first off, I just have to say the fact that Kraven the Hunter even makes an appearance is kind of incredible and hilarious in itself. That's such an obscure villain.
Well, Pleasant Hill is, I'm going to go ahead and spoil, like issue number 1 when we figure it out. It's a prison to rehabilitate supervillains. It's a town, and it's powered by the girl who's a living cosmic cube. And
Wait, so she's... Hold on. I got to ask you a clarification question again. Yeah. And this is why I'm sure you don't like her. So the cube, the girl had already assumed a physical form, and they were just using her regardless?
Pretty much.
Okay, so now I get it. All right.
They were protecting her.
Ah, yes.
So, yeah, if anybody can't see this, if you're not watching that video, I definitely just did air quotes around protecting.
Really big air quotes.
It's just, man, it is just so frustrating. Issue 3, I will say, though, was probably the best of the 3.
Well, that's
it
good.
didn't make it worth reading as an event, but it was kind of cool to see it pick up. After I picked up both Cap issues that were a tie-in, the 75th anniversary and Sam Wilson Cap number 8. And you definitely saw the seeds in this book. Ray said that he saw seeds in Miss Marvel planted for Civil War II. I saw seeds in this book planted for it. There's still a huge ideology difference between Steve and Sam. And Bucky's kind of in the middle, like, all right, guys, let's stop fighting and be friends again.
Okay, former assassin that killed a ton of people. Whatever.
Yeah, Mr. Man on the Wall, and we didn't know if you survived Secret Wars.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. It's kind of weird. I don't really like it. But issue 3, if you know what's going on, issue 3 is kind of worth it. Zemo has a really good scene in it. There's some really great moments, but it wasn't enough to redeem an entire event. That's the problem. Had the rest of the event been this good, I would have recommended it. But the issue, it's kind of pointless if you haven't read that. If you haven't read the 2 previous ones, the Cap tie-ins, and God knows what else. There were like 6 series that tied into this.
That's so strange to me. Like
all with 2 issues each.
That's so weird. Why would they do that?
It's so dumb. Like everything was rebranded as Standoff. We got some cool cover art out of it.
Honestly, everything that was branded Standoff, I avoided. I just avoided it.
Yeah, you could probably skip these 2 Avengers issues and never miss anything.
Yeah.
Which kind of sucks because this is the first time that all new, all different Avengers has really stumbled for me. It's the first time a mainstream Avengers title has stumbled for me since before Hickman took over.
Oh, wow.
So in like 4 years, this is the first time Avengers has really stumbled. So I'm kind of willing to let it go depending on how Civil War goes. Mark Waid's doing a great job with these characters, but not in this event he didn't.
Yeah,
he was bound by the core series, which I don't know who wrote the main series. Don't ever let them write something meaningful again for Marvel, please.
Hey,
and who made the decision to have a living cosmic cube as a child?
They wanted to give you something else to be attached to, something to worry about.
I wasn't attached. I just wanted it to end. Well, so did my wallet.
My wallet was like, no, I can't do this anymore. But I kind of have this. I have this feeling. I can feel it in my balls, Josh.
Oh, we're getting deep here.
That Rebirth will be stronger than Civil War 2 in so many different ways.
I'm gonna go with. I'm inclined to agree with that right off the bat because Rebirth is really, it's what Marvel now was, but I think on a little bit bigger of a scale. It's somewhere between Marvel now and all new, all different, which is good. It's what DC needed to do. Basically, it's looking like what the new 52 should have been.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think even though I know we're kind of like, oh, yay, Civil War 2, like I know we're excited to see what impacts it has on the universe, it doesn't feel necessary.
Right, exactly.
We discussed this on...
it's not going to have as much breadth and like significance that the
we discussed it on the main event. I think really if they just given it a different name than Civil War 2, we would be a whole lot more hyped for it.
Exactly.
The name is what's ruining it here. I think they only named it Civil War 2 because of the movie coming out. People are going to go buy this and be like, oh, that's not Civil War.
Exactly. This isn't what I read. This isn't what I saw on the screen.
Pretty much. But it's not going to be a war like, oh, we're literally going to punch the shit out of each other, which I'm pretty sure is going to happen anyways. It's a war of ideology this time. It's a war of philosophy. And that's exciting and intriguing to me as a big fan of this universe. I like that. That's why I like Ultimates so much. That's why I liked a lot of Secret Wars because we really got inside Doom and Reed's psyches finally. And why Hickman's Avengers run is godlike now. But I like Bendis. I worry how he can handle this and like 3 other titles at once, though. I'm really scared.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm
still going to read it. I'm still going to read the whole event.
Oh, yeah, we're going to read the whole thing, like all the tie-ins, everything. We're going to read all of it.
We're really excited for this. This is really the first big-scale event we've had since Secret Wars started. So, in about a year, it's probably it's the first big event. Secret Wars, of course, went on like 3 months longer than it should have. I want to see how the characters get to this point. I really hope they kind of cool it with the event series for a while. Even the smaller ones like Standoff, I hope they cool it because we got an X-Men one going on, with Apocalypse. That's just weird.
Yeah,
read the first issue of that and I was like, oh, that's cool. Moon Knight is a Horseman of Apocalypse now. Awesome.
Oh, everybody should be dead. I don't even know why we still have comic books then. So I don't know. It's a little weird.
Ray, do you have any more picks?
Oh, well, I have two more. I'm going to kind of glaze over them because, I got them, but they're not like, oh, these are fantastic and amazing, blah, blah, blah. But so International Iron Man #2 came out. This is the book where we're finding out more about Tony Stark. Not Iron Man, but Tony Stark.
Right.
Because like it was revealed in Original Sin that Tony Stark's parents are not his parents. And so we're trying to find out who his parents are.
2 years later.
And I feel like this is just them actually fleshing out the character of Tony Stark because the character of Tony Stark has never actually been fleshed out past his adult years. So we're going back now and kind of seeing younger Tony and see what's happening there. And so they're actually
I'm really digging the art in this book.
Oh, the art in this book is awesome. It's great. It looks like a comic book to me. You know what I mean?
I'm having problems getting into the actual book itself, so I'm actually going to hold off on this one until it's completely out. Issue 1 didn't grip me like I thought it would, but the art is awesome.
I like this book because I like Iron Man and Tony Stark,
Yeah.
but I want to learn more about this new character of Tony Stark that they're building. Because I mean, this is, to me, at least to my knowledge, this is uncharted territory. This is new to the character. Period. So that's why I'm reading it still. I like it. Definitely check it out. This is just issue 2. So if you like Iron Man and want to know more about Iron Man, definitely check it out. Iron Man 1 and 2. It shouldn't be too hard to find because I don't think it's been very popular. But it should. They're gonna go until they actually get to what they're trying to get out, and then
I still think it's just gonna be a short run series.
Yeah, it's gonna be. I think if at max probably 6 books, probably. So we'll see where that goes. But so far, so good. It's all right. And then, like I talked about earlier, the Dark Souls book that I picked up. It's more Dark Souls. It's actually when, before the undead and all that other fun stuff happened, and you get to see people like Aldrich and Sunbro makes an appearance. Everybody loves Sunbro. Praise the sun. And then Fira, I don't remember how to pronounce her name. She's also in this book. So it's kind of like you get to see some of the bosses from Dark Souls before they were the monsters that they are.
Now, does it just cover Dark Souls 1, or is it from all 3?
See, I don't know if it has like a straight.
Because this is just issue 1, though, isn't it?
Right. This is just like the first book, and I don't know if it's like gonna be. I don't know exactly where it is. I think it's just Dark Souls. So like I think this does kind of like cover Dark Souls through like maybe where we are now.
I'll definitely be picking this one up. I love the variant from GameStop.
Yes, it looks so great. So to describe this variant to you guys, it's just the moniker for Dark Souls is you die a lot, so you see the words "you died." But this variant cover is the character, which is the first person view, is getting murdered by this monster, and the words "you died" are just across the cover. It's great. Like I want that. I want that just for the cover. So. I don't know. This book isn't like fantastic, but if you like Dark Souls at all, definitely something that it'd be cool to have if you like Dark Souls. So
yeah, it seems really cool. I'm not into Dark Souls, but just that variant alone makes me kind of want to read it now and like start getting invested in the universe.
There's a lot. That's the thing about these games. The lore there's so much lore. It's just, but you have to do so much work to get it. But it's good stuff. It's really good lore. It's fun. It's not fun. It's interesting and it's fun to learn is what I meant to say. So definitely this is a way to get into it if you're not playing the games. So might actually interest you in playing the games. Who knows? But it's done by Titan Comics, and so far so good. Not so bad. I hope they keep coming up with cool comic covers because I like them.
Yeah. So, right.
Yeah, Josh.
Now that we've gone through our picks for the week, is there anything that you've been catching up on? I've actually been catching up on. See, I have my current box right here, which is hilarious. The Mighty Thor. Okay.
Yes. So I actually finally started picking up those books, and I am not disappointed. I was a little leery in the beginning because it was, not just because it was Jane, but because of what they were gonna. I just didn't know where this book was gonna go.
Right.
But it's more so an Asgard book, and that made me really, really, really happy because there's so much other junk happening on Earth. They have this really amazing place in Asgard that they can tell stories about, and I'm really glad that they're doing it. It's awesome. There's a point where Thor and Odin are fighting, and Freya is going after the throne, and it's amazing. I think that this is a really cool book. I like it a lot. So yeah, I'm catching up on the Mighty Thor, and I'm glad that I decided to catch up on it because I think she's going to have a big part going forward. I can't even say a big part because we don't know, but she'll have a part in Civil War 2 that I think will be interesting because
they've been building towards it in All Different Adventures.
Right. And I mean, like we said before, is that the previous Civil War, the first Civil War, or the OG Civil War, as I will refer to it as from now on, we didn't have a Thor. We didn't have a Hulk. So nobody had that power on their team.
Yeah.
But now we have a Hulk and we have a Thor.
And all the Inhumans.
And all the Inhumans. So this is going to make this Civil War real interesting. So
yeah.
What have you been catching up on, Josh? Anything?
I caught up on Star-Lord.
Oh, yeah? Oh, yeah.
I've had my hopes and dreams crushed. If you've never listened to the main show, I love the legendary Star-Lord. I really did. It was a really short run. It was like 11 issues, I think, before Secret Wars started. It was really cool, though. I liked it. I liked them exploring the relationship between Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde. That is my favorite romance in the Marvel Universe. It's so perfect. It's so wacky that it works. And then Star-Lord came out after Secret Wars. Same author. And it's been pretty bad. I don't even want to go into it because I'm so upset. But the long and short of it is, I'm really upset because he broke him. It's between him and Bendis. They both did this. They broke up. They broke Kitty and Peter up, and now Sam Humphries has them on some intergalactic dating show hosted by The Collector. And it's not wacky enough that it works. It's wacky enough that it made me say, I'm not touching this again until you're off this title. I got really upset by that. And man, because that was such a fun couple to read. And, especially when they took the deviation into Star-Lord and Kitty Pryde during Secret Wars, that was a fun little book to deal with. Peter is on the run from Doom's forces. They've all been scattered. And then, Age of Apocalypse Kitty he runs into. And
God.
He's like, oh, crap, you're not my Kitty, though. Because he's not quite understanding what's happened yet.
Right.
And they end up going on an adventure and everything. He's impersonating Steve Rogers by singing Disney songs in a nightclub that's owned by Black Bolt. It's so fun. He's such a fun character. And that's why I don't get it. It was written by the same all of this. So I had such high hopes going into Star-Lord. And it just has not been good. I've also been catching up a little bit on Guardians, while we're on the subject of Peter Quill. I've been catching up a little bit on Guardians. Hasn't really grabbed me. I haven't really been a big fan of the Guardians book since probably about 6 months before the movie came out was the last time I think I was really hardcore into it, and it just kind of afterwards. So there's a lot that could be better. I think both books could be I really think that Guardians could be better if they gave it to someone else. It's like you can tell it's like at the low end of Bendis's attention. Because Iron Man's been great.
Iron Man has been fantastic.
Iron Man's been great. Invincible Iron Man is good. I have no doubt that Civil War 2 is going to be good. Miles Morales has been amazing. Guardians has been really, why? Why is the Thing here? Why is Venom still in space? Why? Oh, we're going to make Kitty Pryde into Star-Lord. Don't get me wrong. Is like every dude's dream to see her dressed up as Peter Quill. That's awesome.
I don't know what dreams you've been looking into, Josh, but that's not one of mine.
I don't know. It's awesome, though. I love Kitty. I love Kitty Pryde. She was one of my favorite growing up. And I really, really, really like Peter. So it's just been really weird. I want those two to get better. On the DC side, I'm trying to catch up on a lot. I'm actually going to be diving into American Alien starting this week.
I'm waiting for the collected edition.
Oh, I do need to wait for that. Never mind. I'll be waiting a little bit to start on that one.
Just wait a little bit. Yeah, but
I've been hearing some
run finished. It's good.
Right. I've heard that, and I'm picking up Wonder Woman Earth 1 this week.
Oh, okay. See, I'm gonna be the last one to pick that up. I'm gonna pick that up too.
It's Morrison, Grant Morrison.
Right. So I'm not gonna
really excited for that one. Yeah, excited to pick that one up. I'm going to pick it up probably this week and read it in line at Civil War, or save it and take it on vacation with me. I'm going on vacation in 2-3 weeks.
I'm trying to build up. I'm trying to find out. I'm trying to build I have a site map of things that I'm going to acquire, and I have a bunch of collected editions that I want before I go on vacation in June. So, yes.
Yeah. I'm going to have a 3 or 4 hour plane ride to Orlando, so I need some stuff to read, and Chelsea's just going to look at me like, oh my God, you brought more comic books than you did clothes.
That's okay. She'll understand one day.
Hey, she will. So, before we wrap up, do you have anything else, Ray?
So, Captain America Civil War is next week. Next week. You've already seen it.
Less than a week away. I did. I saw it 2 weeks ago.
Josh has seen it 2 weeks ago. He has a spoiler. Is it spoiler free or is there?
It's spoiler free.
Josh has a spoiler free review on his YouTube channel. If you are so feeling like you want to, if you want to see what Josh thinks about it, because Josh has great things to say as usual. So check that out. Josh, what's your YouTube channel?
Amateur Hour Analysis.
All right. Go check that out. I'm still jealous because you've already seen it.
Yeah.
There's so many questions that I want to ask, but I know that
everything that started to be shown. I mean, as someone who's seen the movie, some people are expressing doubts. Like, oh my God, there's so many things being released now. I'm like, man, y'all have not even seen the best of it yet. That is the absolute coolest part. Like, they've shown one or two of the really cool scenes, but we haven't. You've only seen a brief bit of the scene where Bucky is getting chased by T'Challa. You've only seen a little bit of the airport scene. They're just now showing a little bit more of Spider-Man.
I haven't seen any of those. I refuse to watch any more trailers.
So many of the coolest things in the movie have been kept under wraps. Almost the entire third act has not been seen. It's fantastic. They learned their lesson from Age of Ultron and just wish there would have been less promos, because the last month has just been unrelenting. Like, from the second I saw it in a preview screening, all of a sudden everything was being shown. Definitely don't get the post-credit scenes ruined for you, but don't go in with a ton of hype for them. That's all I'm gonna say. They definitely do a lot of universe building.
I mean, post-credit scenes, I feel like haven't really been relevant since the one with Thanos saying, "I'm going to do it myself." I don't think you can top that at this point, honestly.
That was just last year.
I know, you can't do that no more. It's done.
No, you really can't. I mean, the next time we'll see him might be a little bit in Guardians 2. But really, they're just saving him for Infinity War. The most important thing that this is the only thing I'll really say that it proved to me was that the Russo brothers are absolutely the right choice to replace Joss Whedon. And I said it before on the main show, this movie was really an audition for them. They passed with flying colors. There's been a lot of reviews out there that have said this is one of the top 2 in the MCU. Like, people just don't know if it beats either the original Avengers or Winter Soldier. I'm going to have to see it again for a definitive ranking. It's absolutely one of my top 2 right now. I'm personally in the camp that I think it's the most pure comic book movie we've ever gotten.
Okay, that's good to hear.
Because, I love The Dark Knight, but the case I've always made there is it's more of a tale about Bruce Wayne and not Batman himself. It's his reluctance to be Batman. It's really a drama about Bruce Wayne that he happens to dress up as Batman occasionally. Christian Bale is the best Bruce Wayne we're ever going to get, because he portrayed that character perfectly, and they didn't focus on Batman as much, because that's how Christopher Nolan is. This felt like a comic book from beginning to end, and that was a good thing. It was serious. It was funny. You want to cry during parts of it. You just want to yell at both sides to stop. You're seeing these beloved characters fighting, and it brings up so much emotion. And then to see that some of these characters in their debut are done better than you could have imagined. Black Panther, Chadwick Boseman is Black Panther. No concerns about that movie at all. Didn't have any to really to begin with. I was just like, can he do the accent? And he did.
Good.
They still found a place for Chiwetel Ejiofor to go in this universe, so I'm happy. And believe the hype. The last thing, believe the hype. Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man we've ever gotten.
All right, well, you heard it here. Tom Holland.
Yep. Tom Holland. Look out. That kid is about to blow up.
That's good. I'm really glad to hear that.
He's going to blow up. He's handling it great. Kid's handling it like a champ right now. Like, Mark Hamill wants to take a picture with you and tweet it out to 1 million people. And he's just like, I'm here.
That's awesome. All right, folks. Well, you heard it here. That was your tiny review of Captain America Civil War. Here, just right here. No spoilers at all. Nothing. It's nothing you haven't seen. Yep. We're excited for that. I don't know if we're going to do a full series on Civil War. I feel like we're going to do kind of something afterwards and kind of talk about the sides and kind of compare what happened in that. I think that'll be.
It's not like having seen it. It's not like Batman versus Superman. You can't really go into this saying, okay, here's what you need to read in preparation.
Right.
The best preparation you can do for this movie is
watch the movies.
Watch the previous movies. Watch from Avengers onwards. Mm-hmm. Really, Iron Man onwards. It's the most development we've seen of Tony Stark since the original Iron Man.
That's good.
You can see how the choices made in all these movies finally are starting to impact them. Age of Ultron didn't give me that vibe. The Avengers really didn't give me that vibe. Mm-hmm. This gave me that vibe. Everything has a consequence, good or bad. And that's really a recurring theme of the movie is you got to pay for your decisions, both good and bad. So definitely go see it. It's going to be the movie that's talked about all summer. And, I'm not even going to sit here and compare it. I made sure not to do it in my review to compare it to Batman versus Superman because they're completely different. They're totally different. It's not just, it's Captain America versus Iron Man. It goes so much deeper than that. So Go see it. Love it. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know what you think. Talk about it. We want to start a dialogue with you. If you're not in the discussion group already, if you haven't liked our fan page yet, go like both of those things. Join the discussion group. We want to talk to you.
Yes.
We want to start that dialogue. So it'll be good. So this wraps up episode 5 of Neek the Pull List podcast. We appreciate you guys listening. Like I said, if there's any book out there that you guys want us to talk about that we haven't talked about, let us know. We'll definitely look into it. We've taken a few suggestions already and talked about those. So just keep them coming. I appreciate them.
Yes.
All right. You know how to find Neek on all the interwebs. We're on the Facebook. We're on the Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Tumblr, I believe. I'm always iffy on that one because I don't know. But yes, so Neek the podcast. You know how to find us. It's great. We appreciate you. I am Ray. That's Josh. This has been great. Don't forget, keep your pull list full, and we'll talk with you next time.
And Ohana means family.
Oh my goodness. Martha!